Good morning. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's having a lovely weekend so far. Hope your New Year's going great. We're going to continue the discussion we started yesterday about the Fifth Amendment and requirements to ID. It's so asinine and absurd. No cases have been presented. All I've been presented with so far is somebody doesn't agree with my particular understanding of Hibble, and also thinks that somehow a 5-4 decision means that it's a weak decision and it's going to be overturned. And no. Very, very rarely does the court overturn itself. And it's not a plurality decision. It's not a 4 with one concurring to 4 decision. That would be a weak decision. Or a 4 with one abstaining to 3 dissenting and 1 concurring to the dissent. That would also be a really weak decision. It's not a particularly weak decision. And the court doesn't overturn itself very often. So you can just quit smoking on that pipe until somebody actually comes up with a good argument for a particular instance where giving your ID would incriminate you. And no, giving your ID and having them run it for warrants doesn't incriminate you. A warrant isn't a crime. Duh. A warrant means that some other judicial officer somewhere has determined that there is probable cause that you committed a particular crime, and he has issued a warrant for your arrest for the particular crime. The warrant is not a crime. You're not incriminating yourself by saying your name and then finding you have a warrant. It's not a crime. I can't believe I have to say that. I mean, 2 Truth for Liberty is... he has shown a capacity to understand some First Amendment stuff, and yet other things just retarded. And then let's just be serious, kids. Let's be serious. Every state, yes, there's squirrels over there. Every state requires you to ID if you get pulled over for a traffic violation. Every state. You would think somewhere along the lines, somebody somewhere would have come up with a good reason for a Fifth Amendment right to not identify, and yet that doesn't happen. What happens is you go to jail because you failed to identify under the state's requirements to identify statute. If you have a good reason, you can probably talk to the judge in camera about it. But the judge doesn't have to offer you immunity to have you give your fucking name. They will find your name. And they'll probably determine that because they were investigating some other crime and they would have and could have arrested you for that crime, that the finding your name, even if it was a Fifth Amendment violation, would have been found anyway, and so was entirely reasonable or something along those lines. But my point is, nobody's done it yet. You can't point to a case. And the court can and does make people do perp walks and read lines and things like that. And yes, the police station can have you do those things too. They do it. And I don't particularly know the enforcement mechanisms that they use state to state. They may get orders from the court to have you comply. And if you don't comply, then you get contempt charges tacked on. Fun stuff. Or maybe they use obstruction and they start tacking on obstruction charges. Who knows? Who knows? My point is that if you're going to come, bring cases. If you're going to come saying stupid shit, look at the world around you first and notice that the world around you does not comport with your idea of what reality should be. And next time you get pulled over by the police, Michelle, you don't have to talk to them. Just hand them your ID. In fact, I recommend you don't talk to them. If you don't have your ID and they have the right for your ID, then yes, you do probably have to say your name and your date of birth at a minimum. You may have to say other things depending on state statute. But preferably, you just hand them your ID. That way they can't say your speech was slurred or your breath smelled like marijuana or alcohol or something, etc. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.